What up, everybody, and welcome to Baz on Blades. My name is Baz, and I talk about blades. And today we've got another fixed blade, guys. This is another product from Kubey Knives. What we've got is the Kubey KU231. It does not have a name. It should. Any knife this stylized should have a name and not just a number. And I think what it should be called is the Persian. Capital T, the Persian. I don't know, guys. It just fits. It is sort of a modern rendition. It's a stylized rendition of an upswept trailing point, what we associate with an Indo-Persian style of blade profile. I want to say, going into this review, that I have thought long and hard about how I'm going to do this review. This is it's a strange sort of niche knife in that it's not particularly useful as a utility knife. I would, if I was going to reach into a bucket full of knives to go out and do some woodcraft with, this is about the last one I would choose. On the other hand, it's, it is styled as a fighting knife in my opinion, but there are some features that sort of pull it back from that being its primary use also. It's going to be a strange knife to review, guys. I hope you guys enjoy this. I want to say thank you to Andy at Knife Horde LLC on Amazon. Andy is the hookup with Kubey Knives for Baz on Blades, and he has sent me a couple of products before to review. I have purchased Kubey products myself after reviewing them. So they are a quality brand. No, they don't have Baz on Blades in their hip pocket. Guys, I'm going to be straight up honest, just like I am right now, and telling you that Andy from Knife Horde LLC sent me this knife for review. Therefore, I did not pay for this knife, and that is not going to earn them any points, guys. And I'm going to tell you up front, this is not a keeper for Baz on Blades. It is being gifted out to a viewer, subscriber, supporter of Baz on Blades. I'm just going to send this right out to him. I'm not going to say who. I'm not sure he wants to put that out there. But it's after all of that, guys, it's actually a pretty decent knife. It's well made. It's just sort of in between on a lot of design or build aspects, guys. Let's go ahead and we'll set this KU231 down, the Persian, and pull in the packaging, and it is Kubey. It's a cardboard box, guys, with sort of a vinylized covering over it, and you can see this one got a little banged up in shipping, but it's not the cheapest looking packaging, even though Kubey brings us these knives at such a great price point. And Baz on Blades, what is the price point for that KU231? Well, here is the bag that it comes in, and here is the price, guys. $49.99 on Amazon. I will put a link down in the description, and no, I'm not going to make any money off of it. I'm just going to go to the page, grab the URL, and plug it in there, guys, just so you can find it easy. I'm not on any program at Amazon or anything where I make any money. Not going to make anything from Kubey. And there you go, Kubey card, Kubey branded microfiber cleaning cloth, Kubey plastic bag, and Kubey box here, guys. So we'll put this back. We've done our disclaimer, and we're going to dive into the KU231 review now, the Persian. This is a full-size fixed blade knife out of moderately thick blade stock. It is bladed in D2 tool steel and handled in G10, guys, and that's it. That's the great thing about a fixed blade knife. We don't have to talk about a whole bunch of different stuff going on here, guys. It's a steel blank, some handle slabs, 2 screws. Well, 4 screws. So it's pretty simple as far as that goes. Full size, guys, you're looking at a 5 1/4 inch blade length, and that's from the tip to the closest point of the handle scale there. And that's slightly less than 13.5 centimeters. Your blade stock thickness, 195 thousandths of an inch, or 4.95 millimeter. So minus the finishing on it, the surface finishing, you're looking at 5 millimeter blade stock basically. Your blade width at the widest is 1.36 inches or 34.7 millimeters. Your handle length is 5 inches, 12.5 centimeters. Handle thickness, and this handle is 3D machined. It is radially machined and then sculpted. But the thickness is 0.73 of an inch, so basically 3/4 of an inch or 18.7 millimeters. And yes, that would be super thick for a folding knife, guys. But in a fixed blade, it is not super thick. It actually is a very good balance of width to thickness to radius. It's pretty comfortable, guys. So overall length, 10 1/4 inches or 26 centimeters. Behind the edge thickness is a very high flat grind. So even on this thick stock here, guys, which you can see goes away very quickly once you get into this very aggressive blade grind here, it provides for a fairly thin behind the edge thickness. I hit it in 3 spots on the blade, averaged it out. It went about 23 thousandths of an inch, which is thin for this, guys. And that's about 0.56 millimeters. Your weight, the knife alone, 8.43 ounces or 239 grams. If you bring in the very well made Kydex sheath that we will talk about later, add that in, you're up to 12 1/4 ounces or 347 grams. Now, like I said, this is bladed in D2 tool steel. Guys, everybody knows what D2 tool steel is now. It's pretty doggone decent as a budget blade steel. It's a semi-stainless tool steel, very simple, high carbon, high chromium, high vanadium content. It will not run away rusting on you, but it is not fully stainless either. Take a little care with it, just a very little care, guys. Just clean it off and oil it, and it'll treat you okay. D2 is typically Rockwell in the 59 to 62 Rockwell range. And what you get out of D2 is typically very good edge retention. It'll take a toothy razor edge, which it will not hold forever, but the working edge that comes behind it is very long lasting thanks to all the vanadium carbides that are in this tool steel. So edge retention is pretty decent. Its forte is a toothy working edge. Toughness or impact resistance on D2 is decent. It's not the toughest of the tool steels, especially if ground very thin or maybe ground hot after it's heat treated. I would expect at 23 thousandths behind the edge to be okay with this steel, taking into account some very thin grinds on this blade that we will talk about. Corrosion resistance, like I said, it's fairly easy to take care of. More care if you're on the coast or in a salty environment, less care if you're in a dry area. I use Tough Glide on D2. Wipe it on, let it evaporate. It's dry then. I've never had D2 rust on me ever, guys. You can use mineral oil on it, regular oil, motor oil. I don't care what you use on it. Just don't put anything nasty on it if you're going to be cutting food with it. In your handle materials, you've got these sculpted, well done, very aesthetically pleasing and well machined G10 slabs that are on, fixed with some dome-headed T8, I believe. Yes, T8. Satin finish Torx head screws in stainless. So, material wise, guys, like I said before, it's pretty basic, but everything is it's lining up, fit and finish wise. The fit and finish on the blade is very light bead blast with a stone wash over it. You can see it has more sheen and less bead blasty texture. So it's more on the stonewash side of this dual finishing technique, which is very good. I don't really like bead blast on D2, but from the feel, and I haven't looked at it under a microscope, so I can't see the surface texture to a microscopic level, but it does feel fairly smooth, guys. As far as the final finish, and it does have the sheen. I expect it to be okay. I don't think it'll be an issue on D2, but it is well done. It is uniform over the entire knife, guys. It's just really everything on the fit and finish is well done. These grinds are beautiful, guys. Whatever setup Kubey is using to do their grinds, I'd say this is a jigged grind, probably CNC, and I don't care if it is, guys. It is very well done. It is very symmetrical from side to side. That is the toughest thing to do when you get into big sweeping grinds like this, guys. This is a very soft plunge grind, so you've got this huge choil out here, guys. It is basically a forward finger choil, and we will talk about that later in the review. But again, well done. I'm going to tell you right now, the edge on this is pretty doggone sharp, guys. And this knife was ground out and has the finest needle tip that I have ever gotten in a production knife, guys. It is, oh good Lord, no pressure at all, guys. It catches and pierces instantly with zero pressure. This is a piercer, but guys, even in a tool steel, that's a very thin tip, guys. It is very thin. I would put it on the delicate side of thin, and that's one of the dings against this knife as a dedicated fighter. I said in the beginning of the video, it's sort of, it's not utilitarian. It's not really a full-on dedicated fighter. It's more of a stylized fighter-esque modern take on a trailing point Indo-Persian design. You condense that down to it is what it is, guys. But as far as fit and finish on that blade, they did a fabulous job. Not a lot of billboard and the Kubey logo on the front. You got a steel designator and very small print right there, and that's it, guys. So let's go into this handle. As I said, the handle is radially machined, and then it has this second tier of ball mill work here where they've brought this down. It is stylized without sacrificing comfort. It does give it some additional detail to go along with a very stylized package overall, guys. The way that it's done is aesthetically pleasing on this knife. It fits the design well, and then it's well executed. In some quality G10. I love machine G10 because it reveals the fiberglass layers. It gives it a wood grain sort of look, guys. It's very well done. Kubey, from what I have seen, no matter their price point, does a very, very good job on fit and finish, guys. And then, of course, the screws are screws, and I haven't messed with them. They look to be decently, the socketing looks to be decently deep. I don't have my tool over here right now, guys, but it looks to be quality hardware. I'm not one of those super hardware experts, and honestly, I could own this knife for 100 years and never take those handle scales off. So I don't think it's an issue there at all. Now, there you go. You got materials, you got fit and finish. We're going to bring in the sheath right now and take a look at the sheath because it's actually the best thing about this knife. There's nothing wrong with the knife itself. As far as quality and fit and finish, it's fabulous, guys. Kubey did a great job on it. But this sheath is so well done. Now, this is a $49 knife, guys. I think this is quite possibly the best realized Kydex sheath I've ever seen on an inexpensive, budget, lower end, entry level, whatever you want to call it, fixed blade, guys. This sheath is perfectly done. It is compact in size. It is thick Kydex. It is probably 80 thousandths Kydex, I believe. I don't think it's 90 thousandths, but it is plenty thick enough. The forming on it is deep and detailed and crisp, making for snappy retention at your retention point and zero play anywhere, guys. Literally, you would have to get on this enough to flex the material to get any play out of it. It is that well formed. Whoever is doing these Kydex sheath at Kubey is that's what he was meant to do in life. Don't ever try to better yourself or improve yourself. You hit your pinnacle with Kydex work at Kubey, whoever you are. It is so well done. It does feature a tech lock type of lock. This is the modern push button type here. The push button does have, you can slide it over and it's a physical impediment lockout on it. And then you can open up, you can adjust for your belt width. You've got you've got a whole grid of points here where you can attach. This is side mounted. It is set up for vertical carry on horizontal webbing or horizontal carry on vertical webbing, guys, as it comes. But you can flip that around and change the orientation. You can flip it side to side. It's a mirror image sheath. Babs on blades, you're spending a lot of time on the sheath, but guys, it is so well done, so well done. I've got fixed blade knives that cost 4 or 5 times what this knife does. They don't have as well done a Kydex sheath. Just kudos to Kubey, whoever is doing that. You're doing an awesome job. Now, back to the knife. We've talked about the design a little bit, guys, and we've talked about the materials and the fit and finish. As far as the quality of this knife, it is everything that you would want out of it. It is solid feeling. It's just weighty enough, but it's not too heavy. The grinds and everything on the blade are just well done. The handle work is just super well done, guys. Now, let's talk about ergos and utility. And that's where this design sort of hits its I'm not really good at anything sort of hurdle. And let's say a fighting knife. Well, guys, I'm not a fighting knife expert, but I do love the art of designing a fighting knife, whether it is a fixed blade or a folder. Size-wise, this is perfect with a 5 1/4 inch blade length, 5-inch handle length. It is perfect. It is a mid-weight, mid-size, very fast in the hand fighter. The balance is well done, guys. I don't have any issues there, but it is ground super thin, guys, towards the tip, and I'm telling you, I can easily flex, the end, not the tip, the end of this blade, guys. So you know the tip is very thin. Now, in a knife fight, not that I've ever been in a knife fight, but I think about knife fights every once in a while, guys. I've got to do that for these reviews. In a knife fight, in a stabbing use of a knife, one of the things that you're going to encounter on a human body is bone. If this goes into a human body, whether accidentally or on purpose, and this tip hits any sizable bone, it's probably going to snap the tip off, guys. It's that thin. And D2, you know, at 60 Rockwell, let's say, the middle ground there with that thin, guys, in my experience, it's a little too thin and delicate of a grind. Beautifully done. It's just too thin for a fighting knife, guys. It needs to be able to pierce easily, but it has to be strong enough for its intended purpose. The next thing is this forward choil, guys. This is the biggest design mistake on this knife. This is not a utility knife. In a fighting knife, you do not use a forward choil position. That's the exact opposite that you want out of a fighting knife, which is more reach, not less reach. You want to be able to reach out and touch your opponent, and he can't reach you. That's one of the ways you win in a knife fight. So this choil, guys, it is, to me, I haven't talked to anybody at Kubey, but it's an aesthetic choice, period. And while it does add to the neato look of the knife, it is counterproductive to its design purpose or intended purpose. Nobody's going to say this is a utility knife, guys. It's not a bushcraft knife. It's a fighting design. And this, guys, no, take that out of there, bring the edge all the way back, do a more crisp plunge, do a dedicated sharpening choil here, a small sharpening choil to bypass that plunge grind, and it would be more useful for what it's obviously designed for, guys. Now, there is a crowd of people out there that in knife fighting, you know, they talk about knife fighting all the time, even though they've never been in a knife fight. And if they had, they wouldn't want to talk about it all the time. And they want blade catches. You know, they've looked at fantasy knives and swords, and they think that if they've got a blade catch, they can trap their opponent's blade. And you know what, guys? That's bullshit. You don't do that in a knife fight. A knife fight is a flurry of shit going down as fast as you can move, and later on, you don't even know what you did. And everybody gets cut. Okay, people that are across the street from a knife fight are liable to get cut. There is no blade trapping in knife fighting. No, not for that either, guys. So let's do away with that. Let's make the tip a little thicker for a dedicated fighter, guys. This choil right here for the handle, perfect, guys. Perfect. I like it. In fact, I like the handle a lot. I like it a lot, guys. It is a very good design for a fighter. A nice deep finger choil, wide open center section. Look at how pronounced this bird's beak is. And it's far enough back, it's almost a hook, guys. There is no way that you're ever going to slip off of this blade back or forward, guys. Once you grip this handle, it's great, guys. It's great. And this is in my medium large hands, so it's plenty big enough. Extra large Bigfoot hands might find it cramped, but the good thing is you've got a forward finger choil. Yeah. All right, guys. I think the handle design is great, no issues there. The only thing that I would change personally is I would sort of break this edge right here with a secondary narrow chamfer on that, just because it falls in my hands right on my knuckles, and my knuckles are sensitive because, you know, I got a lot of damage to my hands from over the years of working. And that's just a personal thing. It's not a hot spot. There's no hot spots on the handle, guys. It works great in a forward grip. It works great in a reverse grip. Not going to be using it in a draw grip. It's not a utility knife. You notice I have not said anything about utility use when talking about utility and ergos, because it's not a utility knife. Okay, I am not going to take this out and show you how it chops or slices, or, you know, how I can build a fire with it, or a shelter, or I can open up a crate with it, or if I'm in the military, common utility stuff there. That's not what it is. Again, it is too thin and delicate a grind for that, guys. They put this finger choil on there, I guess, thinking you could use it for utility, but that's, I'm sitting here with sort of this squinting look on my face, and it's like, I can't believe anybody put that there. That's just terrible design decision. But you know what, guys? Yeah, not a utility knife, a fighter, and just not quite there. Do away with this choil, bring that edge back, do a dedicated small sharpening choil that works, modify the grind, probably just modify the distill taper. I mean, nearly 5 millimeters thick blade stock, guys. You've got plenty there. I mean, good Lord, that is a thin tip, guys. I hope you can see that. It's awesome. Whoever sharpened this knife did a great job on it, keeping that tip, guys, not blowing it off, rounding it over. Just a great job on the knife overall. It's just, there's some design decisions here that don't make any sense. This knife was designed to look like a fighter, to look impressive, to look cool by a person that has really not put a lot of thought into what makes a fighter. That's what it seems like to me, guys, because just like your paramilitary 2 is a great everyday carry knife, it was designed to be used that way by people that wanted it to be a utility knife and knew about utilitarian use in designs. This just doesn't have that magic. It's almost there, guys. In the design wise, the fit and finish it's great. Fit and finish is great on the knife, guys. Very well done. Again, whoever does the Kudo, or does the Kydex at Kubey, just thank you. It was just a joy to handle this knife and use this sheath. It is a joy to use this sheath. So well done. That's custom level Kydex right there, guys. I'm going to tell you that right now. In fact, I've used custom Kydex that wasn't done as well. So yeah, quality is there, guys. Fit and finish is there. If you love the look, it's stylized enough to be really cool, but it's not a full-blown fantasy knife. You don't sort of get into that caricature, cartoonish type of thing. Don't buy it thinking it's a dedicated fighting knife, because it's not. It's just looks like a fighting knife. But it is very well done, guys. I very much enjoyed this, and thank you to Andy at Knife Horde LLC. Please take these criticisms as constructive criticisms, because that's how they were meant. Overall, I really like this knife. It's very well done, and it's a decent design too. It just needs just a little bit of tweaking. All right, guys. As always, thank you for taking the time to watch another one of my long videos. God bless all of you, and we will talk to you again.